But by the grace of God, the next day, they called me and told me, we got your lung. And a lot of people, their spouses run out on them, Like, no, I didn't sign up for this.
Hello, world. It's your main man, Reverend Marcus Scott, here again with another Testimony Tuesday. All right. And today we have a couple of special guests. We have Mr. Curtis and Regina Page. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So, how is everybody doing today?
Fine.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate everybody's testimony, but we definitely love hearing from couples. So could you guys please just share your testimony with us?
My name is Regina Page, and I am was a lung transplant. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis in 1998. I didn't know what sarcoidosis was. I was going back and forth to the doctor because I kept getting sick, losing weight, and then I finally found a doctor that did extra tests on me and find out what was going on with me to make to go faster. I end up 5 years later, 2000, I end up having my lungs collapse. Well, I had to have, my husband had just left, so I had to have emergency surgery, and they removed half of my lung. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm back and forth to the hospitals and stuff, so I'm like, okay. Then I end up getting to have to go to pulmonary doctors and stuff, doing infusions and just back and forth to the doctors, and my testimony is just, I thank God that for family and friends to back me up and stuff, because it was just a long journey. Then I had ran into a doctor, Dr. Holly. He had told me, he said, if you don't, at that time I was smoking, and he said, if you don't stop smoking, you're not going to last long. So I stopped smoking in 2000. And so, like I said, after my lungs had collapsed, and I'm still going on, having these lung problems, can't breathe and so about, in 2016, I had a bad episode, and they ended up putting me on oxygen. I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to stay on this, Lord, I can't do this. I'm used to being independent. I work at my church and this, that, the other. So I end up taking myself off of the oxygen. Lo and behold, I'm going back and forth to the hospital. And so about 2018, I end up back in the hospital. And I'm like, okay, Lord, you trying to tell me something. So I know I was back on oxygen. So I said, okay, this time I'm going to stay on this oxygen. I wasn't happy with it, but this is the only way I can breathe. And I just like, Lord, you got to be with me. I'm thankful for my husband, my family, and my church, being, supportive for me, because it's a hard road for somebody that you don't know what's going on, how long are you going to be on this for the rest of your life or what. So I ended up meeting a doctor. His name was Dr. Bett, and another pulmonary doctor, Dr. Romanian. So she suggested to me, she said, have you ever thought about having a lung transplant? And I said, no, so she told me, she said, why don't you check out OSU and see if you'll be, qualified for a lung transplant. Well, I got a hold to him, and at first it was like, okay, we'll see, So they finally had to go through a bunch of tests, and it took a while for them to decide to start me on the tests and stuff. But that wasn't my, beginning of my problem, because it was just like some days I felt like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep going to. I had to go to like testing all the time, programs all the time, this, that, and the other. Some days I didn't even want to get out of bed, because it was just like, I got to carry this oxygen. I got to do this, I didn't want to, do all that. And I said, okay, Lord, We got to get this. I'm gonna get through this. And I did. I'm grateful that I did, stay in there. Cause like I said, it was a journey, trying to stay in. And then the first time when they told me that, oh well, we don't think you're gonna be able to get it done because I had missed some of my tests and stuff. And boy, I was just like, please, don't do this to me. But they finally came back to me in 2020. They accepted me as a lung candidate. I still had a process to go before I can be able to have the procedure. I had to be on the list. And I'm like, well, how long's the list? You don't know. I keep checking. They said, well, oh, you're number 3, you're number this and what, So, I'm just like, okay, at this time, we came into COVID. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm not going to get this done. They got COVID. I'm not, they're closing the hospital down and everything. But lo and behold, I thank God because June, it was Memorial Day weekend, and me and my best friend at church, she came over and I said, come on, let's go for a walk. And she just encouraged me, and we went for a walk. And she said, Regina, she said, you can make it. And I'm like, no, I can't. I said, Lord, I can't do this. But by the grace of God, the next day, they called me and told me, we got your lung. And I'm like, I'm calling my husband. I'm like, what should I do? And he said, what do you mean what you do? Get your stuff, let's go. And I'm just like, okay, this is going to happen. I'm like, this is really going to happen because like I said, this is during COVID. And I didn't think it was going to happen because I kept having like people saying like, are you going to be on this for a long time? How long you going to, are you going to get this and that? And I'm just like, you getting these feelings like, are you going to make it? Are they going to get you one, And when it finally happened, and like I said, I was, kind of scared because, like I said, it was COVID and I was by myself because at the time, you couldn't have nobody in the hospital. So it was only by the grace of God. And at least I could have friends to call me and keep me encouraged because it was, that day when they told me to come in, they couldn't do it that day. Excuse me. Memorial Day. So that was a Monday when my husband took me in the hospital. So they told him he had to leave, he couldn't stay. So I'm all by myself. But God, thank God, I just said, Lord, you got to get me through this. And he did. I'm grateful, I'm truly grateful because it's nothing like, when you have someone holding your hand and said that, you're going to get through this. But I knew God had to have me because, my family, my son, nobody could be there with me. But the next day when I went in and I had the surgery and everything was well, but I had some challenges that day after, the surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just like, I had to have a transfusion. I was just like cold. I had to be helped out the bed. I had all these tubes coming out of me.
Chest tube.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. And I'm just like, okay, but like I said, again, the grace of God, I got through the pain. So I still have to this day, I still have my struggles with my breathing, but, I thank God for a second chance of life. I never got to meet the person that donated me the lung. I tried to reach out to them, but they never got back to me. But I'm just grateful. I'm truly grateful.
Yeah, it was a single lung transplant, not a double. My role came in because I worked for Grant Ohio Health for 46 years. And I also had 999 hours of SSP time, which is family off time. So they helped me out for 3 months. I actually got paid for 3 months because she couldn't stay at home by herself. She had to have somebody with her. And it gave me a chance to see what caregiving is all about. Caregivers should get a lot of praise because it's a lot of work. But I let her sisters come over and bathe her. I wasn't bathing her. But they did a good job supporting her on that. And I had to cook and just being it. You just had to be there. She could not be by herself at no time for, 3 months?
Just about 2 months or so.
Yeah. So it was
And I
tough for
learned
me because I'm one of those get out the house person, but I was stuck. But it was worth it.
Yeah, but
But if I went to the store, I would have to hurry up and come back because she just couldn't be there a long period of time at all.
Yeah, like I said, I had some of my, church members and stuff would come over and sit with me and stuff, if you go, just let them get out to get some, breather because, being there 24/7 and I knew my husband wasn't no, stay in the house all day long. It drove him crazy. I'm like, please just stay with me so he could just get out so he won't lose his insanity. But I'm grateful for my husband that he did take the time because a lot of people, I have just heard a friend's testimony and a lot of people, their spouses run out on them, like, no, I didn't sign up for this, But I'm grateful that he did, stand in there with me.
Yeah, 6 holes in your chest?
Yes.
Yeah, so we had to keep changing the wound bandages and stuff on those to make sure it didn't get infected with those 6 tubes.
Yeah.
And you had enough time for 3 months off of work?
I got 3 more months left. What you talking about? I still got 600 and some hours.
Are you sick? Hey, that's how God works.
Yeah,
man.
you ain't, a lot of people cash theirs in. I didn't cash mine in for some reason. I was like, nah, I ain't cashing my time in. So I still got 600 hours.
He shows up right when you need him.
Oh, yes. Like I said.
And gives you more than what you
Yes,
expect.
Yes, he does.
I didn't have to worry about food or anything. Our sister provided food and everything for us for 2 or 3 days, whatever. So they made sure I ate. I'm not sure you can eat or not. Was you able to eat?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ate all of it.
I told you to touch it.
Hey, man. Those vows are very important. Like
Absolutely.
sickness and health. Yes. And as for me, our generation, we quick to run out.
Oh yeah, they gone.
Like gone. But no, like it stay with your spouse, help out. This is why God put us together.
Yes.
I think it's got something to do with family value, how you was raised. So, our parents had 6, so 6 of us raised up. We always learned to stick together.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yeah. That's my story.
Well, I thank you for coming on and sharing. You guys got anything else to say? You want to say to the world?
Trust in the Lord, and He will guide you to your. He got a journey for you if you listen. But you got to ask for His help, though. I know a lot of people want to hear a voice or something, but you will hear it if you're by yourself. You see, He will talk to you.
Yeah. Not just like I said, I'm just so grateful for not only my husband, my family, my sisters, and, my pastor, Michael D. Reeds, him and his wife, and the ministers. I mean, I think I got on the day I had the surgery, and like I said, I couldn't go nowhere, and I'm calling Elder Mary Moore, and I'm calling her crying, and I'm like, and it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and she said, I said, I am sorry about you. I said, I'm in so much pain. Please pray for me. And she did, and I'm grateful. And she's, even though she had her challenges, she still took time to, make sure I was, right, same as my pastors. And I'm grateful for them, both of them.
Amen.
All right. Amen.
Amen. Any final words either of you would like to say to the world?
My only thing is just keep trusting God, even when you don't see it and it's not right there. Just have to keep trusting him because he won't let you down. He said he'll never leave you or forsake you. So
Amen.
I'm trusting that he will be there with you always.
Amen.
Amen. She can't say it any better. Keep trusting him. Keep believing. And just obey what he has to say in this season.
Yes, Lord.
And just get out his way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let him do his job.
Let him do his job. Control what we can control.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the rest. All right? So until then, world, 2 fingers, and we out of here.